This is about as entertaining as I feel like being right now. As up and as excited. And as funny.
Yeah, so here's the thing. This is going to be a hard one to review.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a very hard one to review. What's going on, guys? We're the Cinefanatics. My name's Chris Adams.
I'm Robert Adams. We just got back from seeing The Way Back.
Never mind, apparently we're going to be funny.
Well, I mean, we have to involve some kind of humor in this. This was a very straight-laced, serious-toned movie.
Absolutely.
And we just got out of it. We're still kind of like in that foggy headspace where we're like, how did this movie reach me? How did it impact me? How did it make me feel?
Yeah.
This isn't quite the let's turn on the camera and perform type of moment. This is, in part, like interpersonal feelings in regards to how this movie has sucked in through your skin and like whatever words I'm trying to say, but you kind of understand what I'm trying to get.
Science.
Yeah. It's just saturated into you right now.
I don't know either. What's going on though? We saw The Way Back. This is all information we just covered. Yeah, exactly. My head's all over the place right now. It was a good movie. It was a really good movie.
Well, good night, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. No, we need to talk about. We will talk about this.
So the story is about this guy named Jack Cunningham. He was a major basketball star back in his high school days.
Yep.
He brought his team to the playoffs, and then afterwards, he essentially in his life he quit basketball, decided to go another direction in life, and reasons, and the basketball team from that high school never made it to a playoff since.
Yeah. So we don't want to go into spoilers.
It's weird. It's really weird to say spoilers about a movie like this. Here's the thing: we're not gonna dive too deep into the plot because there are certain things that it really benefit from seeing the movie to understand how the story goes.
There's a lot of emotional gut punches that happen in this.
Yeah.
That you're sitting there watching this movie and that just hits you and you're like, oh.
There are things that happen that give you a reason. Like, you watch the trailer, you understand that we're dealing with a guy who is dealing with essentially alcoholism. Who has
heavy depression and alcoholism. Yes.
He has fallen into a part of his life where he is dependent on alcohol in order to make it every day. There are reasons why this is. The movie covers that, but we will not talk about those specific reasons other than when they show it off in the movie, it hits hard.
Yeah.
And you go, whoa, that sucks.
So, that being said, they do a very good job of conveying the emotion, the feeling that this story, as to what has happened to Jack in this story, it is conveyed very well. It hits you very hard. And the downside to this is you kind of understand. Regardless of what's happened in your personal life, what stuff you deal with on a daily basis, whether you have issues with depression or not, whether you have issues with alcoholism, the stuff in this movie is very relatable, given just the idea that you're a human being, that you exist, that you know how human beings live their lives. This is very rocks pretty much anyone to the core. Yeah. Whether you are in his position or not.
And to that degree, I believe, and you can tell it based on his performance, that this was a very personal story for Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
I know he's had some issues in his own life, and that you can kind of see his experiences kind of bleeding into his character here a little bit. And that I think is something that has helped lend to his powerful performance in this movie. Because make no mistake, this movie hinges on his performance, and he brings it. He brings it hard. This movie, without him, I don't know if this movie necessarily works as well. Because at the end of the day, the story is a story that we have seen, I feel like, time and time again. Somebody's hard on their luck. They have to turn their life around. We're hoping for a story of redemption here. But it is what Ben Affleck brings to the character brings to this role that really actually sells the movie where it's at.
Yeah, and I think one of the main benefits to this is, for the most part, Ben Affleck really is the only actor that you really recognize. There's no other big name. There might be like some people you might have seen in that one other movie that one time way back when, but way back, funny. But for the most part, Ben Affleck is the only actor that you know. So you're not sitting there looking like, oh, I know him. You're not.
Oh yeah, that's that guy.
You're
from
not
The Thing.
trying to pick out like big name actors. It's
Yeah.
Ben Affleck. It's all about Ben Affleck. It surrounds Ben Affleck's character. If anything, I would say your secondary most important character in this movie is alcohol. I mean,
That's not an incorrect statement. At the end of the day, one of the things to know going into this movie is that if you're expecting it to be like a big sweeping sports drama like you see most sports movies are, sports is a backdrop. It's a setting.
mm-hmm.
The movie is about Jack, the character of Jack, and what he's going through, how he struggles, and if he struggles well or he doesn't struggle well.
And I think that is important to know, especially because by the time you get to the end of this movie, if you go in knowing that, it makes sense. It makes complete sense, and you're like, oh, okay, I kind of get why they did what they did with this movie.
It's I think I feel confident we can say it's not a feel good movie, but
you don't leave depressed. Sad.
Yeah, it really does a good job of not holding your hand and saying, "Oh, sweet baby, everything's going to be okay."
Yeah, no, it doesn't do that.
It doesn't do that. It does paint a very real picture.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's one that really, if people take it incorrectly, I think it's one that might open up a lot of eyes to certain areas of life, whether it's depression, alcohol, someone's mental state of being after traumatic events happen in their life.
Mm-hmm.
All these sorts of things, which is definitely an important aspect of film and things that film should be doing, besides just being entertaining.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this is attributed to the director, Gavin O'Connor.
Yeah.
Because, again, we were saying that the sports in this movie where he's coaching a Catholic high school basketball team, that really is a backdrop. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of this movie that does push the basketball to the forefront. You do get to know the players. You get to know their personalities as well. But it's not about them. And the thing is going back to Gavin O'Connor, you've seen this kind of thing where he's using sports to tell a human emotion piece.
Yeah.
If you look back at Warrior and Miracle, that's what those movies are.
Yeah.
That they're all about that human emotion, but there's sports involved in it.
I found this movie's tone is very similar to that of Warrior. Mm-hmm. It's a movie that is telling a very human story. It's telling a story that's very character driven, but there's a setting that has to deal with sports and fighting and competition and trying to fight your way through stuff. And I think Gavin O'Connor uses sports to a great deal as that setting, as that piece to kind of show that not only is sports in a competition based thing, but it's also showing somebody who's fighting through something in their life. He uses that competition aspect to convey that for a personal character piece.
Yeah, and I'm also really liking now, this is the second time we're seeing the partnership between Gavin O'Connor and Ben Affleck, mm-hmm. and those two work great together.
Yep.
Their first one, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but the first one was The Accountant.
Yeah.
And that was a good movie. That was a fantastic movie, very well done.
A lot of people have their issues with it, but as far as the two of us, we both really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah. And I think this one is just that much better, I believe. But it's also because both of these two gentlemen have found a story that they connect with personally, and they dove straight into it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll say this. If you're, again, just to drive it home, if you're going into this movie expecting to feel all daisies and roses afterwards, maybe temper your expectations a little bit. But at the same time, know that you're going to leave feeling something.
Yeah. If you watch the trailer of this movie and a part of you for a moment was like, this looks like this might be good. Yeah, you were right.
Trust that instinct.
Trust that instinct. It's good. It's definitely worth seeing.
As far as like wrapping it up, let's look at maybe. Oh man, how do you rate this? Hey, because this is where we're like trying to stretch and work out how we do reviews and be reviewers here, because we like to watch movies that are entertaining more often than ones that are like this.
Yeah, it reaches you personally.
Yeah,
and it's kind of hard because a lot of ratings, movies that I've rated before, whether it's on here, Letterboxd, whatever movie rating thing, places where I've rated movies. Some of them, and I've tried to make it clear, some of them have been like, this is where I think this movie rates. This movie rates high because it had good production value, good cinematography, good acting.
Yeah.
This movie rates this high because some of that might not have been the top, but it reached you personally.
Yeah.
Now, this one had all of that. I think the cinematography of this was good. I mean, it was a small town, essentially, city, or a small part of a city.
Yeah.
But, I mean, all of that I thought was still good.
It's very, like, community California.
Yeah, so as far as, like, movie making, I thought it was good. But this one, the point of this movie is not to wow you with what we can make in a movie. Is to wow you with how we can use storytelling to reach you on a personal level.
Yeah.
So, again, how do you rate this, and what do you rate it?
As far as what it makes me feel, like, the moments where I was just kind of, like, I don't know, jaw dropped is not really the term, but
Gut punched,
yeah. Where I felt the hits, I would give this probably an 8 out of 10. I think there's aspects that I would have liked a little bit more, but for what it was a very personal story, and I understand why they reeled back in some areas and decided to focus on others.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to give it an 8, but I don't know if I want to go up to a 9. I'll probably stick it like around the 8.5. This was a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Emotionally, I think it's going to reach a lot of people who are going into this open-minded and wanting to receive the message that this movie is putting out.
Yeah.
I think it'll do a fantastic job. I'm not sure how well it's going to do in the box office. Compared to movies that people are going to see just off of pure entertainment
and fun,
but
yeah.
This is definitely a movie I think a lot of people need to check out.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth seeing. You get a high recommendation from us to go see it.
Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for this review. Did you see The Way Back? What did you think of it? Do you agree with our assessment? Let us know down in the comments. What did you think of this review? Do you think that we touched upon all those highlights? Was this informative enough for you? Let us know down in the comments. We're still a fairly new channel. We would like information to kind of help grow. Let us know. Also, make sure you follow us on social media. We are at Cinefanatics MLP on Twitter and Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. We are at facebook.com/groups/Cinefanatics. Join our group and join in the discussions that we may have on there. Also, make sure you come back Tuesday nights, 9:30 p.m. Central Time, for the Tagline. That is our weekly news live stream show that we have just started putting on. We've had one episode so far, which was pretty good. Can't wait for the next one coming back on this coming Tuesday.
It's our flagship show on this channel, so you're going to want to come here and just hang out with us. If you can't do it live, it's going to be here for a replay, so check it out in your own time if you need to.
Yeah, this is on YouTube. That's the way YouTube works.
Go for it.
Anyways, another way YouTube works is by subscribing to channels that you like. Did you like this? Do you like this channel? Subscribe. Hit the button down below or the button that's up there above his head. Over here off to the side are a couple other videos that we have made, and as always...
So this was the return of Sad Ben Affleck. You think he's going to be Batman again?
I don't know, but I would actually kind of like to see this Batman come from this. That would be kind of cool. Anyways, later.
I'm not Batman.